So I'm doing the grammatical error correction. So the outline is I'm going to first introduce and recap my project, and then I'll talk about the methods and what I worked on. I'll describe the baseline, and then I'll describe how using Sentence-Piece helped the grammatical error correction with the GloVe and ELMo word embeddings, and then I'll provide my conclusion. Just to recap about the grammatical error correction task, we're converting broken English into correct English. And this can help non-native speakers learn English as well as native speakers with typos. I use a transformer to do this. And my hypothesis was using sentence pieces, I could improve the accuracy of this. And a little recap about sentence pieces, we break the word into the prefix and the suffix and any words, any letters that make sense to go together. Like coolant would go to CO. So here's the Latin suffix. And don't ask me why they broke the others in that way, I don't know. But you can see that we could learn something about this ant here, or S, or ing, or ed, and that I thought would prove beneficial to help fixing grammatical errors. My project, I used a transformer, and I used the label smoothing and learning rate annealing, and then I used the GloVe embeddings and ELMo embeddings, and I used a Lang 8 dataset, which is from this webpage where you take a learner of English or another language, and they'll post a paragraph, and then a native speaker will correct it. The small data set had 900 lines, the large had 12,000, and then I used the glue score, which is similar to the blue score, but it's trained for individual sentences, and I also manually looked at sentences. Interesting, oh yes, Japanese. So the data set was from Japanese to English. So I thought that was a cool side note. And also it had a little problem because it had like random Japanese characters in it, like exclamation points and stuff were different, so I had to like convert all the English punctuation and remove the extra words that it didn't translate. So the other thing I was going to mention here is GloVe is primarily word-based embeddings, but ELMo is character-based and context-dependent. So ELMo takes like 50 times longer to train, and it's a lot more complex. And then I'll describe later what difference that made. For the baseline, so the glue score is between 0 and 1. So this is like 14% or whatever. And so GloVe did better with a larger data set, and the baseline was just words instead of sentence pieces. And then ELMo just did really bad, and I'll explain why. Yeah. So here with the small data set, we can see sentence piece really didn't learn much, but with the large data set, it did twice as good as baseline. So I thought that was really good to know. And then if you look at the sentences themselves, this is for the baseline, which is words instead of sentence pieces, and it predicted, I don't feel the rainy season last night, which has nothing to do with, that they're feeling sick since last Saturday. Whereas over here with the sentence pieces, but I don't good at English, but I don't speak English, is very equivalent. Like, it's really close, and it's also readable. So I thought that was really useful. And this can be used if we're like in Word or Google Docs, they could use this idea to help suggest sentences for people that have incorrect grammar in them. One thing I was worried about was I thought GloVe would do worse because it's word embeddings. So if you throw in something like ing or ed, would it just all go to 0? And then I realized it also has like characters and suffixes and prefix embeddings. So I thought that was really smart on their part. And then as you train, it will learn them better. That was really important. That's why it did still good, even though I thought it would all go to 0. Next is ELMo. So the idea behind ELMo is people wanted to improve upon word-based and use context. So if you had like a cell, if you have a cell, it could be a lot of different things. It could be like a cell phone. It could be a gel cell, or it could be what was the other one? Like a blood cell. And so the idea behind ELMo was, let's use context, let's use the characters and the words, and that could be better than GloVe. But for my case, it actually turned out a lot worse. So, like the baseline was way worse than GloVe, and then Sentence-Piece was really bad too. My theory was, if it already is like character-based and context-dependent, breaking it into suffixes and prefixes isn't going to give it any more information. So that's my theory why I did worse. Also, it took like 50 times longer to train, and I wasn't able to train as long. And then here you can see the baseline didn't really learn much, what I don't. And then Plenty of Cakes and Great Time, the Sentence-Piece didn't learn anything either. So I was like really frustrated, but I was like, you know, if I had more time and Google Colab, you know, didn't time out after 12 hours and, you know, and more data, then I could do a lot better. So in conclusion, we could use GloVe embeddings and Sentence-Piece, and we could use this, and, you know, further development could be used to help people correct grammatical errors in English. ELMo, not so much, but with more training and data, we could learn, you know, if Sentence-Piece makes a difference in that. And that's my presentation.
The difference between, so looking at the difference between the small and large on the GloVe embeddings, it looks like in the small data set, the Sentence-Piece did worse.
Yes.
Any idea why?
So one idea is it just was only 900 lines of sentences, so maybe it didn't learn very well. And then looking at the sentences, some of them were like really random. Like they had like parentheses at the end, like this is what this should mean, you know, or like the target was actually broken English still. So just all those combinations of all those things, I'm thinking is why it did worse.
And so, and now can you go forwards to the ELMo? Okay, so those are still really, really low, even for small.
Yeah.
But I guess it's hard to conclude much if the small data set was just not enough to learn from.
Yeah, not good anyway. That's something I was worried about. But I was like, I can't get to large data set because it would take like, you know, weeks. So.
Yeah.